changing the conversation from not saving enough, where a lot of people are living in, to can you save too much? And examining some of these really heavy savers. You might have seen on the internet when you're looking around, there's a FIRE community. So FIRE, Financial Independence Retire Early, FIRE, who are devoted to saving around 70% or as much as they can into savings so then they can retire early. And obviously, they're going to put a lot of money into investments and savings. And at what point, though, do the trade-offs start to diminish? So one of the false assumptions that we make in finance and in behavioral finance even is that for every additional dollar that you save or percentage of your paycheck you save, you're better off. So the utility chart kind of goes like this in a certain direction, but always upwards. And even if it gets to 90%, there's no factoring in of, okay, well, what if you are saving 90% and living in a cardboard box down under a bridge? Is that actually helping your utility? Or is there at some point this nice balance level between your consumption and living a good life today and spending a good amount of money today, coupled with a nice savings for the future? So I feel like this is often overlooked, where you have a large number of people in the camp of no savings, only living for today. And then you have a number of people who are totally living for this future. And we know that nothing is guaranteed. And so after assessing all this, I try to reach my conclusion of falling somewhere in the middle here, where yes, in my life, I'm saving full maximum contributions to retirement. I've got an additional 20% that's saved into brokerage accounts. And then at the same time, I realized that I can still live a good life on the rest, and I can be content with everything I have. And yes, you can always buy a newer car, a nicer car, have a bigger house, buy better clothes. But you're trying to find that right balance. But these individuals who are saving too much, you would think that, all right, well, you're going to save so you can retire early. And so then when you save, you've got your plan. You're doing really, really well. And now you're going to choose your path. And when we think about, here's our accumulation phase, and then when we spend, all the academics, we have these assumptions that we're going to spend our last dollar on our last breath, and we'll perfectly time it on our last breath that we've spent all of our money, we've lived totally rationally, and that's just not the way it is. And so we have this thing called the retirement puzzle. And so we're now analyzing individuals who have saved very well. These are the individuals who have a lot in their retirement accounts, and they're skewing our overall numbers, where we already saw the average number was 101,000 and the median number was 17,000. And so we're investigating what's going on with these retirees who are doing really well. You would think these are the individuals who are living their best lives in retirement and spending their money. They've made all their sacrifices, and now they are really benefiting from the fruits of what they've put off. What we found is that's not actually true. And so when we analyzed these super savers, we found that 58% of these retirees withdraw less than their earned interest on their accounts. Less than their earned interest or their dividends on their accounts. And that means their accounts just continue to grow and they become 85, 90 years old, and now they even have more, and they still, a majority, will not spend or dip into the actual balance on it. So they've done all the right things, but now they won't withdraw from it. 26% withdraw their earnings. So whatever interest or dividends they earn, that is their income. That's the money that they use to spend. And then 14%, only 14% actually draw down their principal. Draw from principal or their actual account. And this is what is really puzzling, because we thought everyone would more or less try to game it where they're losing their last dollar. But basically we're finding that 85% of the people are just hanging on to their money and not spending it at all. We call this the retirement savings puzzle. And we're trying to figure out what's going on when you save all of this. You don't actually benefit from your savings, which is kind of a tragedy. And that's what we call this a puzzle, is that people they've done all the right things and they're winning the game, but they're not acting like they've won. So what ends up happening is they'll pass it on to their kids or family members, and that generational wealth historically gets pissed away, frankly. It doesn't really accumulate into much more. And so what people think even is, I'm going to save this for my family, so I'm going to fly coach instead of first class. Basically says my kids are going to fly first class instead of me. So this is what I try to tell retirees who are in this position, that if you don't fly first class, your kids are going to do it for you, and the money will still be gone either way. It's just you won't be able to enjoy it. And so that's where we say these are the issues here. Some of the solutions around it becomes more mental, where we're trying to understand, okay, why are you doing this? Why are you hanging on to all of this money? And frankly, a lot of it comes down to a scarcity issue. So people think that there's just never enough, and they just want to hold it because it gives them a sense of security, which I can understand to a certain point. And so what I try to do with some of these individuals is we try to challenge them to say, hey, you've saved this certain amount. You reached your savings goals. We're going to flip the script on you, and we're going to come up with a spending goal. And I want you to be able to spend a certain amount per year, and you can spend it on whatever you want or whoever you want. But we're going to do this, and I just want you to spend it. And when we come back next year, I want you to tell me if you were better off or worse off from the spending goal. And I can show you via simulations and all these situations that based on your situation financially, you're not going to run out of money. We could do this for 200 years and you will not run out of money. So we set this spending goal to see if we can give them a sense of, hey, if I give this to somebody or if I spend it, I get to experience the joy that comes from using money more abundantly or freely than I would hanging on to it, pretending that it gives me a sense of security. And so that's where we try to get people to help with their savings goals. But that deals with people who are saving too much. It explains it, tries to give them a solution and a change of mindset around trying to make them better stewards of their finances. All right, I'll stop talking. We'll move on. We'll talk to you later. Bye.